Media.
Welcome back to Behind the Bastards, a podcast that this week is about Phil Spector. I'm fairly certain that's not what his first name is. Here to correct me, Greazy Wil.
That's actually, I think his name was Philium. I have no reason to dispute that.
That's legally the truth then.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I do want to lead off with saying that I forgot last episode, but I did want to mention I have made a playlist of all of Phil Spector's music. I thought that it would be even though it's technically whenever you're doing this is educational, so you can use music for anything that you want when it's educational, but I thought it would be, especially with the new prestigious Netflix deal that you guys got. I didn't want you to have any, copyright complications.
Right? What are you building to?
No, I'm just saying. I just didn't want you guys to have any complications, So, so instead of what I think is Phil's most seminal song, instead of playing that, I'll play you my interpretation of it. Thank you all for listening. I will be here all week.
The night we met, I knew I found my show. The kind that talks about every freak you know. Each time I listen, I can't believe my holy ears. The worst of mankind, eternity. So can we go behind the basket? That you're screaming behind the basket. Behind the bastards now. Behind the bastards. From war crimes, cults, and CEOs to the weirdos history tried to leave untold. Crawford and Sophie dropped the facts and the darkest jokes. You'll laugh and cringe at every villain they expose. So can we go behind the bastards? Behind the bastards. Behind the bastards now. Behind the bastards. Behind the bastards. Behind the bastards.
That was beautiful.
Well, that was genuinely one of the sweetest things I've ever done.
I loved every
wanna
second of that.
I just want everybody to know, this was not an AI song. I legitimately made that
I
song.
would never have accused you of that.
I know, but it's like right now there's so much like 50 Cent does 50s song, doo-wop, and you're like, no, I brought in a girl, her name was Clancy. I shout her out. Shout out Clancy. She was amazing. She crushed that Ronnie Spector vibe. She absolutely killed it. It was amazing. And I very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yes,
you didn't really show that
to,
wall of sound thing too that you were talking about. Yeah.
Literally what I was going for was trying to sound exactly like Phil Spector's Be My Baby, which is where we will pick up today.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. After
what
this.
An introduction.
After this.
Jesus.
Nailed it.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Peace to the planet, Charlemagne the God here, and listen. We are back. The Black Effect Podcast Festival is back in Atlanta on April 25th at Pullman Yard. Yeah. And the full lineup is nuts. We got the Grits and Age Podcast, Deontay Kyle, and Big Ice Cup Cat. We got Club 520 with Jeff Teague and the gang. Yeah. Don't Call Me White Girl. Mona will be there. Keep It Positive, Sweetie with Crystal Renee. We got Reality with the King with Carlos King. And yes, Drink Champs will be in the building. Okay. Plus, we're going to have a lot of guests, so you need to join us. And we got the Black Effect Marketplace, the Picture Podcast, and everything you expect from the Black Effect Podcast Festival. Tickets are on sale right now. Go get yours at blackeffect.com/podcast festival. Don't play yourself, okay? Pull up.
Then she says, have you seen a photo of my son? And I'm like, who is this person?
Welcome to the Boys and Girls Podcast, arranged marriage is basically a reality show and you're auditioning for your soulmate. And who's judging? Only your entire family? I sacrificed myself to this ancient tradition, hoping to find love the right way. And instead, I found chaos, comedy, and a lot of cringe. Listen to Boys and Girls on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the Stino Show podcast, each episode invites you into a raw, unfiltered conversations about recovery, resilience, and redemption. On a recent episode, I sit down with actor, cultural icon Danny Trejo to talk about addiction, transformation, and the power of second chances. The entire season 2 is now available to binge, featuring powerful conversations with guests like Tiffany Haddish, Johnny Knoxville, and more.
I'm an alcoholic, and without this program, I'm gonna die.
Listen to the Stino Show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Saturday, May 2nd, country's biggest stars will be in Austin, Texas at our 2026 iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. See Kane Brown, Parker McCullum, Riley Green, Shabuzi, Dylan Scott, Russell Dickerson, Gretchen Wilson, Chase Matthew, Lauren Elena. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they sell out at Ticketmaster.com.
So back to our story, back to our pal Phil Spector. His career is exploding, right? This is where we're at right now. His career is exploding. He is the hottest. He is Max Martin in the 90s, right? He just wrote Britney Spears, and now he's working for Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
And then he's working for, it's just like hit after hit after hit after hit. And like I said before, in the last episode, we talked about he was the tycoon of teen.
Hate that.
So yeah, so
Upsetting.
he's it's a very upsetting name but to be fair, he is probably only like 20 years old. Like he is barely not a teen himself at this point. And this is a very, very peculiar time in history, right? Because most of his competition is like 50, 40, right? They're like old dudes, right?
Yeah.
It's like in the early days, like it's very funny, but they talk about this all the time. And like basically, if you heard a song by a young black girl group, it was written by an old white Jewish man.
Yeah.
Without fail, that's what I mean. Not quite yet, but very soon the Chess Brothers are going to have Chess Records in Chicago. It's going to be everything, everything that exists, in music is going to come out of there for a little while. It's like there is absolutely. There is just a world of old white dudes writing pop music for teenage girls. And Phil Spector is the maverick. He's the young guy. He's doing it different. He's very different, right? All right. So the studio becomes his creative space. The studio becomes, everything to him. He's using it as part. It's like it's really in these moments too, when he's making these Wall of Sound productions, it is basically Phil Spector and the studio is the musician. He's bringing in randos from the parking lot to sing backgrounds. There's layers of percussion and shit. It was like if you could keep a beat at all, it was like cool. Go in there and play this thing. He would have multiple drums, like all sorts of stuff going on in these productions. The musicians were interchangeable. The studio was important to him. Gold Star Studios in Hollywood on Vine, and which is no longer there by the record. It was a shitty studio in the 1960s. Right?
I gotta break it here to say one of my favorite early in our friendship memories was coming to visit you at the studio you were working at in LA for the first time with Lenny, and like cracking a 6-pack when you're like putting the finishing touches on something, and you're like, this is where they made pet sounds. And I was like, oh, this building? You're like, no, like this room is the room they made pet sounds.
Here. Right here. Yeah, which again, I mentioned this the first episode, but part of my love for this whole story is that this is all combined. This story is all one story, which also includes Charles Manson. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Charles Manson's in this whole thing too. And I actually have a little bit like, dang, I should pivot from this one. The next one I come over here, I should Charles Manson, Beach Boys. No, it's good.
We've talked a little bit about the Beach Boys and Charlie Manson, but not as much as the subject deserves. Yeah.
Oh my God, it is. I mean, we'll get there. That's but that's a little special thing for you guys in the future. You'll love it. So yeah, Phil is working at Gold Star. The Beach Boys are Brian Wilson actually is part of these early like background people, not singers. He's like a hanger-on. He's like showing up places and being like, oh, Phil's working. Like, and he's a kid and he just like, oh, I just want to see what Phil is doing, because Phil is the guiding force of what would become the Beach Boys, which would then become the Beatles, is like whole vibe on how they just were not doing the. Phil is the architect of this original sound. And you cannot be stressed enough how big of a deal this is. Like, he is like as big as Dr. Dre is, right? Like, when you think of like, like everybody knows Dr. Dre, everybody knows Phil Spector.
Right.
Across continents, they know Phil Spector. Everybody knows Phil Spector, right? He is, after the hits that he's crafted already, just he's worldwide. Mr. Worldwide. He's Pitbull himself.
Right. Yes, he's the first Mr. Worldwide.
He is also, as I said, only about like 5'3" or whatever. And he wears heels. He starts wearing heels all the time because he doesn't want people to know how short he is. He starts losing his hair, which we'll talk about a little bit. And so he starts wearing wigs and starts like going, this is the beginning of all this at this exact. He's like 21 and he's like losing his hair at a crazy rate. He's like, all right, real insecure about it. Really has a lot of self-worth image issues. You know, he really just does not like. He's doing all this because of that. He's trying to go bigger and bigger and bigger because he looks at himself as being just like the worst because, you know, mom issues and all that.
Yeah.
All right. By the mid-1960s, Phil Spector had achieved something few producers had ever managed. He had transformed himself from songwriter into brand, from collaborator into architect. The Wall of Sound was no longer experimental. It was defining popular music. But as his professional authority grew, so did his emotional instability. He got married to a woman named Annette Morar, right? And it is such a small blip. Like, I should have started with that, but it's such a small blip. He marries her and immediately just starts ignoring her, has no interest in her. He love bombs her. He does what we now call love bombing, right? He love bombs the shit out of her, but then once they get married, because this is a very short courtship, once they get married, he's like not interested anymore. So
that gives me major ick.
Sorry, go ahead.
That gives me major ick is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, calm down on hating on people for bad relationship situations.
As we have Will on. Well, I'm hardly one to talk.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can. Look, I figured out the problem. It's me.
It's me. Yeah, I'm in the same place. I've locked down.
I figured out the problem.
The call was coming from inside the house the whole time.
100%. We figured out the problem, but the real, we got to...
You're saying you got 99 problems, but you're the bitch and it's you.
Yes.
I've got 99 problems and I'm all of them.
Yep.
And I have been nefariously behind every single one of them.
Yeah.
Just, this will never come back to me.
Yeah. All my problems are either me or the government, which is why I really focus on hating the government.
It's true.
All right, so his paranoia is escalating. His reliance on intimidation is becoming really normalized, right?
Wait, that's actually kind of interesting. So he love bombs this person. He's obsessed with her, and then they get married, but then he no longer wants to like control or stalk her.
No, he literally
that's a new behavior.
He basically it's that classic, like, as soon as he gets it, he's not interested anymore.
Dog that caught the car.
Or as soon as he gets it, it pivots, like the whole thing changes, right?
But he doesn't want to control her anymore.
Not really. It's more of like he is still controlling, right? But he just doesn't care at all. Like most of the time, he's more interested in his career, in his work, in what's going on in the studio. He builds a studio underneath his house so that he can just like be down there whenever he's like, anytime he's annoyed or like whatever, he just goes downstairs. So he has the ultimate like escape plan.
Yeah. I'm sure if he were to catch her cheating on him, he'd be pissed, but he's hardly paying enough attention to know.
Got it.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's very much at this point, he's very much interested in Phil. Phil is what's driving him, right?
Yeah.
So what he's looking for this whole time, he keeps talking about, this is a constant reference, he's looking for the voice. He's looking for the voice that perfectly complements his wall of sound, his musical compositions, like being all these like big Wagnerian like opuses and everything. He wants a person to be that thing, to be that front and center for all of this, to make it worth what he's doing. He doesn't feel like he's found that with any of his previous stuff. So in walks Ronnie Bennett. Ronnie Bennett. Let's talk about Ronnie Bennett. Will eventually become his wife. Spoiler alert. I don't know how much I wrote, so now I just gotta. I wrote a lot. There's a lot of words in here.
41 pages tangent. You wrote, my friend.
Welcome to my hell.
Yes. No. That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, I'm on the subreddits. I'm on the YouTubes. I read the comments. I read the comments because they keep me humble. Because, like, I'll be, like, posting something on the internet and someone will be like, this guy's a fucking loser. And I'm like, all right, cool, you know? Like, I'm really
I guess
glad,
I am
like,
a loser.
No, I just, you know, I gotta keep it real out there. But sometimes I see comments on there where people will be like, I can't believe Robert did. Fuck you. Fuck every one of you who has ever made a comment like that. Fuck any of you who have ever said anything bad about Sophie too. I'll slap the shit out of you. This is for the subreddit right now. I'm one of you, and I see the things you say, and I'm disgusted by them sometimes because I'm like, God, do you know, this took me a year. This took me a whole year to do this. I'm busy. I'm a busy person. But even whenever I was like, you know, I told you like last week, oh, I'm done with this. And I was like mostly done. But I wrote another like 3,000 words because I was like, well, there's some parts I'm missing and all this stuff.
Because everyone will call you out if you miss shit. And you're going to miss shit.
Yes, this is hard. And I hear all your little internet comments like, oh, he said some weird shit. Or what? I'm doing my best, dude. It's like I'm improvising at the same time while I'm obviously drinking a little bit. And like, you know, you guys got to cut me a break.
Well, that's
on the
bearing.
internet.
You got to do that.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody else operates, but this is how I do things. Speaking of which, purchase Greazy Does It recording course taught by me.
Wow.
A very responsible
great
human
plug.
being.
Great plug.
Marketing
Great
pivot.
plug. Incredible work.
Thank you. Yeah. So Ronnie is born into a family shape. She's born in Spanish Harlem, New York City, August 10th, 1943, 4 years after Phil was born, just down the street, basically. They probably lived almost in the same area at this time, essentially. All right, so her father, Louis Bennett, was an Irish-American, and her mother was African-American Cherokee. Her father was also a drummer and a drunk, something that can still be found together in massive quantities around the world. You can have a drummer and drinking anywhere you go. It's true. You can find it. Yeah. It's as prevalent as Coca-Cola, man. It's there. So he's also a failure, right? He can't keep a job. He can't do anything. He's just a mess most of the time. So she grows up not really down with alcohol, right? This is important for later, but she starts her life
understandable
being traumatized by a little bit by alcohol. She always loves her dad, but she definitely feels like, you know, this is an alcohol thing.
Yeah.
She loves singing. She's really big on like Frankie Lyman. She loves Frankie Lyman. She thinks he's the best ever. Dinah Washington, just voices that were raw and like real authentic feeling, right? And she also gravitated towards performance. She was always like, you know, like the classic front woman thing, you know, it's like when she was a little kid, she was always singing into microphones, you know, it's like that story, right? Her father being a drummer and a failed drummer did not discourage her mother because her father left pretty early, but it didn't discourage her mother from encouraging Ronnie's musical talent. She didn't just like all of a sudden, I mean, if it was me, like, dude, I had ex-girlfriends that were like, my ex-boyfriend was a drummer and he failed at music, so you can't possibly make money off of music. And I'm like, you know, maybe you're wrong. I don't know. To be fair, I didn't make a lot of money off of it, so whatever. So her mom supports her. Her dad's always waxing poetic about his days as a musician. So she grows up as that being like a really important thing.
Right.
She was always singing at school events, neighborhood functions. She got a style, right? That's something that happens when you do a lot of music is eventually, at first, you're just learning. You're just trying to replicate other people's things. But eventually, once you do it enough, you develop style, right? And for her, she developed a very unique style. It was very raw. It wasn't musically perfect, but it had just a tone that was just beautiful. Everybody recognized it.
Right.
So her older sister Estelle and her cousin Nedra formed a vocal group called the Darling Sisters. The trio practiced constantly singing in school hallways, street corners, in their apartments. That's like a thing that still happens in this time period. People like out doo-wopping on the corner and everything. Yeah, just singing in public. Bro, if you saw that shit now, you'd be like, oh my God, fucking influencers are the shittiest.
Yeah, I was about to say, unfortunately, I would assume it's some like incredibly irritating like TikTok thing or whatever, some fucking viral bullshit or something.
Dumb, I don't want to be a part of your fucking videos, weirdo. You know,
I'd be a huge asshole about it.
I would absolutely. I'd be like, you guys suck anyways. I don't even want to listen to this.
Fuck you for making music in public. I'll kill you.
So the group was eventually renamed the Ronettes, a name that captured their identity and Ronnie's emerging role as a front woman. You know, Ronnie and the Ronettes. It's very
normal name.
Coded.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know. But, you know, Ronnie's lead vocals really do become the defining characteristic of this whole thing. Their early performances were energetic, glamorous, and slightly rebellious. Ronnie developed distinctive stage presence that blended confidence with vulnerability. She wore dramatic eye makeup, teased her hair into towering beehives, and moved with a swagger that contrasted with her petite frame. She was creating an image that felt simultaneously innocent and dangerous, an aesthetic that would later become iconic in 1960s pop culture. Sophie, if you would, please show Phil and the lovely ladies of the Ronettes.
Yeah. Beautiful woman.
They didn't invent that beehive hairdo.
Yeah, but it's iconic.
They're the reason it became popular, right? It was like their adoption of it was the thing that made that. That was iconic. My grandmother had one of those when I was a kid still, and it was like the 80s. Like it stayed on for 20 some years how popular that was. So it's like their cultural relevance just cannot be understated in any way. They were incredibly important to the look of the early 60s. So breaking into the professional music industry proved difficult for them. The Ronettes performed at clubs and talent contests, dance venues all throughout New York City, struggling to secure recording contracts or industry attention. Their persistence reflected both ambition and necessity. Because music was important to Ronnie. Like it was get rich or die trying on this. You know, she was 50 Cent hard right now. Eventually, the group secured opportunities to perform at venues that exposed them to evolving pop and rhythm and blues scene of the 1960s New York. They performed at the Peppermint Lounge and other popular clubs, and again, Ronnie driving the way.
Yeah,
they were starting to get. Sorry, go ahead.
Just because this is and Spector, and I know what's coming is like. Based on just how he treats artists, like the replaceability of them, treating them just like another tool, and hearing a story like this that really drives home just like, no, to get anywhere close to people hearing you on the radio, you have to have been relentless about making this your life. Like absolutely unhinged in your dedication to this career.
Especially at this time, right? Like, and it's a really good point. Like, the dedication cannot be understated. It's like at this point, in order to get a record made, right? That cost a lot of money, you know, like for the time, you know, it'd be like $100 or $200 or something like that to record a song at the studio. Like $200 is like a whole month's paycheck for people in the 60s.
Right.
Like
it's a crazy amount of money.
Yes, it's a lot of money for a lot of people. So, and it's still kind of that way today. In fact, if you're interested in working with Greazy Wil, you can find him at the Grease Factory at greazywill.com. Sorry. Anyway, so, you know, it's very expensive. So even to just get something recorded is expensive. Then you have to get it to a DJ. You have to get it on the radio because the only way you will ever sell anything is if it's on the radio. So you got to get it on the radio. And then it has to build local support. And then it has to build regional support. And then it has to build, you know, it's like sometimes this is like a years-long process to get music to be heard.
But she's hustling. She's like relentless in trying to get her stuff out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. she strongly believed that the right producer would eventually understand how to capture her voice authentically, and she continued performing relentlessly, touring, rehearsing, and refining her stage presence. Mm-hmm. She saw her career not as a sudden break waiting to happen, but something that she would build through persistence and emotional honesty. So, yes, that's exactly it. She worked. She put in the work from the time she was like 14 years old, just grinded all the time.
I'd say it's the only way to do it, but it's not. It's the only way to do it if like you're not somebody who's coming from somewhere, you know.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of nepo babies in the music industry right now.
Sure.
So we don't have to pretend. They're rising through New York. It's 1963, and she's looking for this producer, and coincidentally, a producer is looking for his voice, his muse, his wall of sound, his girl who will be that for him. And they meet. Literally, it's very funny. They literally just call. You know, it's like 1963. You just look up in the telephone book.
Be like, hey,
you want to produce my album?
You know?
Yeah.
It's like when I think about the old days of how things were done, it's like, what? You just called somebody? I won't even answer a phone call from a number I don't know.
Right.
Well, no.
Yeah. No, you can just pick up the phone and get a fucking music deal based on that.
Yeah.
You know, assuming your call timed in well with when he'd just done a line, you might be able to fucking make some shit happen.
Absolutely. So I was like, all right, so they just call him. They call him and he's like, oh yeah, I've heard of you guys, because they're making a noise in New York, right?
Yeah.
And Phil at this time too, there's a lot of geographical confusion with a lot of the stuff that he is bouncing back and forth between California and New York all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like he loves working in Gold Star, so he goes out to California to work at Gold Star, the studio, but he doesn't. Like the New York scene is still the scene, right? So he's got to like go to New York and then he flies back and then he'll work there for a while. So a lot of times it might seem like he is just like transporting across the country in the story, but he really is. So he heard Phil in Ronnie. He heard the voice that he'd been waiting for, the emotional landscape that he had spent years construction would fit perfectly with her, right? The professional relationship, though, immediately blurs into personal fixation. He starts spending, extraordinary amounts of time rehearsing Ronnie. He's always rehearsing Ronnie. Like, it's like, Ronnie, stay after. We got to do this. Ronnie. It's like always Ronnie. And of course, she is the front woman. I'm not saying, that's not important or whatever. But it's like, it's very obvious, right? That he's
trying to isolate her.
Isolate her is a great isolation began disguised as mentorship. Exactly. Right.
Okay.
That's never happened before.
Yes.
You know what else hasn't happened before? Advertisements. We're the first podcast to do that. So you're welcome.
Yes, let's do it.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia, and I'm kicking off a brand new season of my podcast, Math and Magic, Stories from the Frontiers of Marketing. Math and Magic takes you behind the scenes of the biggest businesses and industries while sharing insights from the smartest minds in marketing. I'm talking to leaders from the entertainment industry to finance and everywhere in between. This season of Math and Magic, I'm talking to CEO of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario, financier and public health advocate, Mike Milken, Take-Two Interactive CEO, Strauss Zelnick.
If you're unable to take meaningful creative risk and therefore run the risk of making horrible creative mistakes, then you can't play in this business.
Sesame Street CEO, Sherry Weston, and our own Chief Business Officer, Lisa Coffey.
Making consumers see the value of the human voice and to have that guaranteed human promise behind it really makes it rise to the top.
Listen to Math and Magic, Stories from the Frontiers of Marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast.
Hello, gorgeous. It's Lala Kent, host of Untraditionally Lala. My days of filling up cups at Sir may be over, but I'm still loving life in the valley. Life on the other side of the hill is giving grown-up vibes, but over here on my podcast, Untraditionally Lala, I'm still that Lala you either love or love to hate. I've been full-on oversharing with fans, family, and former frenemies like Tom Schwartz. I had a little bone to pick with Schwartzy when he came on the pod.
You don't feel bad that you told me I was a bootleg housewife? I almost flipped a pizza in your lap. I was so pissed.
God, I literally forgot about that until just now. Sorry, I don't want to blame alcohol. I got to blame that one on the alcohol.
This is about laughing and learning when life just keeps on lifing. Because I make mistakes so that you guys don't have to. We're growing, we're thriving, and yes, sometimes we're barely surviving, but we do it all with love. It's unruly, it's unafraid, it's untraditionally Lala. Listen to Untraditionally Lala on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back.
We're back into Phil Spector.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if I like that.
Hated it.
Sophie's face.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
it's easy to portray Ronnie as a victim and only as a victim, right? But it it denies the fact that Phil Spector is Phil Spector at this time. He is a legendary person in the music industry. And she fell into love with him as well. It was not one-sided. It was not just Phil love bombing her, but it was in fact, quote, I already knew I liked him that first day, and I knew he liked me too. It really was love at first sight on both our parts, even though I hardly said 3 words the whole night. I didn't have to say anything else. We communicated in other ways. Every time Phil put that song back on, I wondered if he wasn't trying to tell me something, because it sure did speak to me. I couldn't stop thinking that today I really met the boy I was going to marry.
And that's from Ronnie's book, Be My Baby.
Aww.
Yes, from Ronnie's book, Be My Baby.
I know where this goes, so I'm so bummed about that.
Yeah.
He showers her with gifts, attention, grand declarations of devotion. Like, he's on it, right?
Yeah.
However, remember I said that Phil has his studio in his house, right?
Yes.
And he is still married.
Oh,
and his wife lives upstairs.
Cool.
So, again, this is also from Ronnie's book. She goes to visit him, and she says, quote, I'd never been in a penthouse before, Phil or anyone else. So naturally, when I walked in, I couldn't resist peeking into all the closets and poking around behind all the closed doors. I opened one door and was surprised to find a bedroom where 6 or 7 pairs of women's shoes were scattered all over the floor. I asked Phil who they belonged to, and he nearly turned pink. Will you stop snooping around where you don't belong, he snapped. I think it was the first time I ever saw Phil lose his temper. Okay, honey, I said, I'm sorry. He must have noticed the hurt look in my eyes because he softened his tone immediately. Those are my sister Shirley's shoes, he explained. She stays here sometimes when she's in New York.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Uh-huh. Your sister Shirley. Yeah.
Bro, getting mad was the distraction to come up with the excuse, right? He was like, what are you looking around for? Oh, yeah, sister shoes. But those are my sister shoes. If I'd have thought of that before, I wouldn't have gotten mad first. If I'd have thought of sister shoes immediately, I wouldn't have gotten mad. Come on. So, he abrupt, defensive, aggressive.
Right.
This is a pattern that would kind of define the relationship,
Yeah.
Curiosity would be met with intimidation, and reality would be replaced with Phil's version of truth.
Right, sure.
He's gaslighting.
She accepts that.
Gaslighting.
She accepts that as the truth, right? And just doesn't even question it. She does say that she recognized that Phil had some issues, right? She was like, he's got some confidence issues. And this is another quote that I think is
confidence issues, okay?
So important. So important. Listen to this. All right, so this is from her book, Be My Baby.
Okay.
Quote, Phil first started losing his hair around the time we met. In fact, there's a picture that was taken when he signed us in March 1963, which also was the first day I ever saw him wearing a toupee. It was so obvious if you knew him, but he still went to great lengths to hide the fact that he wore wigs, even when we slept together. After we'd do our foreplay, he'd get up from bed and make sure the lights were all out. That way I couldn't watch him when he took his hair off. Then he'd stumble into the bathroom in the dark so he could rub this acetone solvent all over his head. It was the smelliest stuff in the world, but I guess it was the only thing he could get the toupee glue off his scalp. So he's like 21 and he's like lost all his hair already. And he is incredibly insecure.
The worst way possible.
The worst way
gluing
possible.
it to it. Ooh.
Sir.
Yes, and everybody knows, everybody around him knows, but like he's so powerful you don't say anything.
Sure.
And so it's just like everybody's just kind of accepting that this is a thing that has happened and nobody says anything and they just let him go on with his little delusion about not being bald, I'm not really bald.
Yeah, of course, Phil. Absolutely. I always wonder with guys like that, Do you know that everyone knows? Is this like a power thing? Are you truly deluded?
I'm so excited that you brought this up, and I can't wait for down the road when we discuss Phil and his hair, because we have to, at some point in time, really get into Phil's psyche about his hair. And spoiler alert.
It's a big deal for him.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. He just flat out does never acknowledges that he wears wigs. Wow. It's amazing. All right, so and that's going to get even funnier in a couple paragraphs here. All right, so Phil brings Ronnie to California under the promise of expanding her career opportunities away from her family. She's now crossed the country, New York to California away, you know? During this whole time, Ronnie claims to have not known that Phil was married. She didn't find out until they had been sleeping together for several months when a fellow musician finally broke the news to her. She had been in love with Phil and ignored all the warnings, but now it was clear. It didn't change her love. She still loved him, and he still loved her. And he love bombs her with a house, and they move in together.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's literally just in like the bathroom one day, and somebody's like, "Oh, yeah, because his wife." And she's like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah, he's married. You didn't know he's married? He's married. What are you talking about?" So she's just like, she's hurt, but she's like, I mean, he comes and tells her, of course, naturally, "Oh, it's not, we're done. We're getting divorced. We don't love each other. It's a whole thing," right? So Phil lied to Ronnie's mother about the nature of their relationship too, and tells her that they're married already. Because she's like, "You guys can't be living together and shit." And he's like, "No, we're already married. It's fine." And she's like,
"I don't believe you."
Sucks so bad.
I don't believe
Seems like an obvious lie.
Yeah, I don't believe you, but I do need to figure this all out, right?
How old is Ronnie at this time?
Ronnie is like 19 years old, like 19, 20, and Phil is like 22, 23 years old.
Okay.
Like he was born in 39, so 24. He's 24.
Okay.
He would have these wild swings between like heavy love and then targeted insults. One night after a show, he flew into a rage after a cameraman compliments her, and he loses his mind. Quote from Ronnie's book, quote, "This was a big thing with Phil. If I lost control in front of a crowd, he hated it because that meant I was out of his control. And on top of everything else, you came in off key. He could only ever criticize my singing for technical reasons because he knew I didn't read music. So I couldn't argue. Don't bother coming to the party after the show," he ordered. "I don't want to see you there." I went straight back to my hotel room and cried. I suppose I could have gone to the party anyways, but I never considered it. I just couldn't go against Phil's wishes in those days. Phil couldn't control what I did once I got out on stage, but that wasn't a problem he had in our personal life. So he is... it's pretty early. They're not married. This is very early, and he's already taking control. The Beatles asked them to go on tour with the Ronettes, and Phil told Ronnie not to do it. You know, and
why would you want to go on tour with the Beatles? That's not
not with those guys. He's very,
that band's not going anywhere.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Fuck those guys. Those random blokes from Liverpool or whatever. Yeah. No future. So, all right. So, following the incident where he was urinated on, Spector developed an intense obsession with personal protection. This is classic Phil, right? He began collecting firearms, frequently carrying them during studio sessions and public appearances. Over time, his guns become more than defensive tools. They become theatrical symbols of authority and intimidation. Naturally, right? Like, this guy doesn't just, he loves guns, right?
Like, he likes to scare people with guns a lot.
He loves a snub nose. He loves a 38, dude. That's a pocket gun like crazy.
It's really easy to just whip it out and wave it in people's faces. That's the perfect. Yeah.
It's the perfect, and also you can hit him with it. It's very heavy. It's got a, that's a good
hit him with it.
That's a good pistol whipping gun for sure, right?
Yeah, when you jam it into someone's body, the slide doesn't, get out of battery or whatever. Like you can really just poke people with a 38 very easily.
And let's be real honest too. When it comes to a 38, like, it's not like a long distance weapon.
It's not an aiming gun. It's not an
aiming gun. Not at all. All right. He also developed a fascination with martial arts, particularly karate. All right. Now, again, this is 1960s America. We're about to see Elvis get into the same thing. This isn't.
He sure was.
This isn't like out of control. Lots of actors are like, okay, but Phil's particularly fun. So he's watching television right now, and he sees a guy named Santi Yosol break a brick with his hand, and he's it. That's it. He's sold, bro.
That's all he needed to see. Sure.
Yes. So he starts taking lessons from this guy. He finds this guy and starts taking lessons from him, right? And he just like goes crazy. It's like every day, and he starts walking around town just like, in a karate gi. Just like, you know?
The weebist, like he's inventing being a weeb. That's amazing.
Yes. And all right, and again, he doesn't have real hair, so he's wearing a wig, right? He's wearing an obvious wig and a karate outfit walking around town.
Oh my God.
But you can't make fun of him because you know he's also going to pull that 38 on you if you do.
Yes. And probably armed with a gun. So like all of the things, right? All right, this is it. So this also gives him access to actual karate practitioners because he's taken lessons from these guys.
Sure.
So then he hires them. He hires Santi to be his bodyguard because he's like, well, now I got this tough guy, right?
He knows karate. Good enough for
and
me.
so these guys also, I just want to point out, like, I don't know this to be fact, but I just can't stop thinking about this because another bodyguard who's a karate guy, he talks about this a little bit, but you know that they're getting paid a lot of money to be around this guy. They're making a lot of money off of this guy, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, bro, you're killing it with them karate chops, man.
Oh, Phil, you've got the most powerful
You're so
fists.
dangerous.
Yeah, just a little push knocked me right over, Phil. Wow.
Oh my God.
Well, it's also, especially in this period of time, just lying about your martial arts qualifications.
Oh, yes,
I spent
absolutely.
10 years in China learning kung fu from monks. Who's going to check up on that shit? You learn like 10 words
Google.
and you're good, you know?
Yeah. You could lie about anything back in the day, man.
So easy.
Even when I was like
easy.
in high school, you could still lie about things. Like, what am I going to do? Go to the library and prove you wrong?
All of the top-billed Native American actors in Hollywood were Italian men. Like,
Italian
it was
guys.
Very easy to lie.
It was so easy. All right, so so Santi bodyguards for him, and then he's like, "Bro, I ain't got time for this anymore. I'm actually getting a legitimate business." Like, so he passes it off to this other guy, Emil Farkas. And Emil felt that Spector was using his bodyguards as status symbol, but also as a threat to anyone who might get froggy. So he's like, walking around, I got these guys, like, what are you going to do? Kind of shit. Very Jack Doherty coded. Do you know Jack Doherty?
Yeah,
the millennial, the young kid, the Zennials or whatever will know who the fuck that is. Anyway, he's doing that. He's going up to clubs on Sunset Strip, getting in front of everybody, and then when somebody dares to question him, he says, fuck you, and they're like, okay, well, let's fight. And then from out of behind him comes some actual karate guys, Plus, also, too, actual karate guys in the 60s must have beat the shit out of everybody, dude. Like, they're still in, like, the world of, like, wild haymakers and stuff.
Everyone else is doing, like, the Captain Kirk two-handed punch. Yeah. And you actually know how to hit somebody. Yeah, you're fucking
Somebody's
annihilating
out there doing this thing,
Get
and you're like, what?
Come on now.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary right here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like actual karate guys, I think about this all the time. Like, they must have just mopped the floor. It's not like now you might actually run into like a UFC guy, or like an MMA guy right now.
There's guys who actually do that now, just walking around.
But these are just karate guys walking around. Anyway, so he basically is just antagonizing people in purposefully to cause problems, and then has his bodyguards beat the shit out of him, which is super fucked up. So Emil, though, he says, this is from Breaking the Wall of Sound. Quote, Spector had never quite got the hang of karate. He might have worn a black belt tied around his gi, and he might have boasted to journalists that in case of real trouble, I could totally kill a guy. But according to Emil Farkas, he just play acted. He'd do a lot of chopping his hands in the air, but he was nowhere near a black belt.
He's like,
a lot of chopping his hands in the air. If the thing someone's going for is a chop, you can kind of guess the rest.
He's like,
I know you can really hurt people that way, but generally,
boom.
He's hitting him with the hi-ya.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's hilarious to picture, like, in your brain, right? I just always have to remind myself, because he's a giant in the world, but he is a 5'3" man. He's a tiny little dude out here karate chopping.
Incredible.
Wearing a karate gi.
He is a 5'3" man who believes he's a martial artist.
Like, God. But what he was good at was playing pool. Apparently, he was pretty good at playing pool. And so he hired this pro player, Willie Mosconi, and paid him $175,000 a year to hang out at his house and teach him how to play pool.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's
awesome.
kind of cool. Yeah.
And then, hold on. Then he would go to pool halls and hustle people with him. And then when people got mad, he'd have his bodyguards beat the shit out of him.
He was really scraping all of the fun you can have when you're rich enough for bodyguards.
Yeah.
It's like, I just have a posse of dangerous men that have to beat people up if I'm a dick. I am surprised really more rich guys don't do this, to be honest.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest, man. If I ever get that kind of money, like walking around with bodyguards money, that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, of course.
That's all I'm going to do. So he would throw crazy parties and then disappear. He's a weird dude right now. He's like, he'd throw these crazy parties and then disappear the whole night and then reappear right as people are about to leave. And he would get super mad if the girls wanted to go home. Mm-hmm. Super mad. Message.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He has got he hates to be alone, first of all, and he establishes this. But he also just has, like, specifically when women want to leave, he gets upset every single time.
Not cool with him. Yeah.
This is from Emil Farkas again, from Breaking Down the Wall of Sound. Phil would get very upset if women walked out on him, Farkas says. He would rant and rave. You'll never work again. I'll get you fired, whatever. But then again, you'd have this thing at parties where you might have 20 girls each, and each one would try to last out the other to see who was going to stay the night with him. But the feeling I got was that Phil sort of realized that most of these people were around for the external rather than the internal. And he would have preferred that he wasn't liked for the limousines and the money and all that. He would have really liked to be loved for himself. And there were girls who liked him for that. I think the problem was that Phil could never believe that these people could love him for who he was.
I'm not surprised he had trouble believing people could love him for who he was, because he's a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but I'm also, yeah.
Yeah, it is very strong, yeah, dude, of course nobody, like Stifler, right? It's like Stifler, like, yeah, of course no one likes you, bro.
You're a giant prick to everyone, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're not liked.
Right. You know who won't get mad when you try and leave their parties in the middle of the night? These sponsors.
That's
these
right.
people who pay
That's
money.
Right.
I was going to say me, because my parties don't go that late. So.
But the party of capitalism, that one keeps on going forever.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia, and I'm kicking off a brand new season of my podcast, Math and Magic, Stories from the Frontiers of Marketing. Math and Magic takes you behind the scenes of the biggest businesses and industries while sharing insights from the smartest minds in marketing. I'm talking to leaders from the entertainment industry to finance and everywhere in between. This season on Math and Magic, I'm talking to CEO of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario, financier and public health advocate, Mike Milken, Take-Two Interactive CEO, Strauss Zelnick.
If you're unable to take meaningful creative risk and therefore run the risk of making horrible creative mistakes, then you can't play in this business.
Sesame Street CEO, Sherry Weston, and our own Chief Business Officer, Lisa Coffey.
Making consumers see the value of the human voice and to have that guaranteed human promise behind it really makes it rise to the top.
Listen to Math and Magic, Stories from the Frontiers of Marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast.
Hello, gorgeous. It's Lala Kent, host of Untraditionally Lala. My days of filling up cups at Sir may be over, but I'm still loving life in the valley. Life on the other side of the hill is giving grown-up vibes, but over here on my podcast, Untraditionally Lala, I'm still that Lala you either love or love to hate. I've been full-on oversharing with fans, family, and former frenemies like Tom Schwartz. I had a little bone to pick with Schwartzy when he came on the pod.
You don't feel bad that you told me I was a bootleg housewife? I almost flipped a pizza in your lap. I was so pissed.
God, I literally forgot about that until just now. Sorry, I don't want to blame alcohol. I got to blame that one on the alcohol.
This is about laughing and learning when life just keeps on lifing. Because I make mistakes so that you guys don't have to. We're growing, we're thriving, and yes, sometimes we're barely surviving, but we do it all with love. It's unruly, it's unafraid, it's untraditionally Lala. Listen to Untraditionally Lala on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back. Okay. Will, take it away.
Yes. So it's 1964. The Ronettes toured England with the Beatles. They do actually go to the Beatles to tour with the Beatles. And Phil insists on being there. He is super jealous of it. He does not like it. You got to keep in mind, too, the Beatles are the next evolutionary step in this chain. We went to now producers and bands are gone, and Phil Spector represented the most important version of that. But it's 1964, and the Beatles are about to cross over in America. And Phil Spector is incredibly threatened by them. They have been tearing up the charts and kind of pushing him out, very much so. So when the Ronettes are asked to go on tour with the Beatles, he's like, And so he goes to England to supervise. He has to go over and watch and make sure no one's putting the moves on the old girl, He said, from Ronnie, this is from Be My Baby, Ronnie's book. Phil never came out and said it, but I could tell he didn't like the idea of us spending too much time with the Beatles. I don't think his ego could stand the competition.
Yeah.
The Beatles were leaving to start their first U.S. tour in a few days, and when John asked me if we wanted to fly back with them on their chartered jet, I didn't have the nerve to ask Phil if it was okay, so I made my mom make the suggestion. You know Phil, she told him. It might be good publicity if the girls went back on the jet with the Beatles. No, he told her, I've already bought their tickets, and that was all that said. So he tells him, no, man, I got tickets for you already. You can't fly back on the plane with the Beatles. Are you crazy? I'm just going to let my girlfriend get on a fucking plane, a private plane with a bunch of rock stars? Hell no. That's a horrible idea. Yeah, hell no. So he buys them private or commercial flights back, right? She says, she continues, my mother, they landed the next day at JFK, and she says, my mother and I watched the whole thing on TV. We were amazed at how many kids showed up at the airport screaming and carrying banners. But what surprised me even more was something that happened after the plane landed. The jet was on the ground and the camera zoomed in on the door that was about to open up to give America its first glimpse of the Fab Four. But when that hatch finally did swing open, who do you think was with them? I almost fainted when I looked at the TV and saw Phil Spector following the Beatles out of their plane. So he's like, you can't fly back with the Beatles, and then he flies back with the Beatles.
I want to fly back with the Beatles. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like, there's like thousands of people greeting him at the airport, and they're like, and there's Phil Spector, and they're like, that dick. Amazing.
Asshole.
Amazing pettiness.
He's such
amazing.
a huge dick.
That is Tom Petty right there, dude. That's amazing.
That's like a grand level of dickery. Like it's spectacular. In
you
its
can't
way.
ride with the hottest band that's going on in the world right now. But I can. And you have to take a shitty commercial.
I'm definitely gonna be there.
Yeah. So funny. So Ronnie's life keeps, like, it's more and more confined. She's starting to get, like, kind of more trapped by Phil and everything. And Phil starts working repeatedly at this studio Gold Star. I mentioned it before. It was, like, the scene of his Wall of Sound. And it's really important. Like, it is kind of like a big deal. It's Haight-Ashbury for the hippie movement. Or Woodstock. Or it's an important moment in time where a bunch of people come together for a thing that is, like, significant. And Gold Star is there. Gold Star is where the Wrecking Crew kind of was born. It's where Phil was doing all these hits, and it's a shithole for the record. But Phil loves it. He turns it into his fortress, right? He just no one's allowed to come in unless he says so. He's booking so much time there. Like, he lives in this studio. And at this studio, he is working with Sonny Bono and Cher. Sonny Bono. Side bastard Sonny Bono. Bono. We're gonna side bastard Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono is a big giant dick, and first of all, bro, he's like the most. First of all, I mean, the Copyright Protections Act that he did just so Disney could keep Mickey Mouse and fucking in their that sucks, right? But also, how do you go from being Sonny and Cher, like this whole, like they sang on on Mamas and Papas songs and stuff. Yeah, they were. How do you do that and then become a Republican senator? You know, like that's like the ultimate betrayal of a human being.
Sonny Bono ended as a Republican senator.
He wasn't nice to share.
A Republican sellout senator.
Fucker.
Yeah, amazing.
He was the one. And also the subject of one of my favorite Eminem lines, Sonny Bono skis horses and hitting some trees. Oh! I love that. Great. So Ronnie develops a close relationship with Cher, who became one of the few people that Ronnie could confide in because she is also living a very similar situation at this time.
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher is about as famous as Ike and Tina, about as famous as Ronnie and Phil. Ironic that they would all work together with Phil. Very strange. And it's really interesting, too, because in all of these situations, it shows that the men in these situations who are very dominant to their women also are all subservient to Phil.
Yeah.
Sonny Bono bends over for Phil, like completely.
Really?
Like he is, yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yes, he lets, Phil is the god at the time. Sonny Bono is nobody. He's a gopher. He's a runner at a studio. And Phil treats him like a runner at the studio.
Wow.
He is horrible to him. He treats him awfully. Side note, this is a really funny story. When Ronnie first met Cher, she thought she was a hooker. she met this girl.
Was a hooker?
Yeah, she thought Cher was a hooker. She was like, "Oh, this must be Sonny Bono's hooker."
Oh my god!
And she just says that, which is
Feminist
really funny.
icon
There's a lot of things in these like interviews and books and stuff that I've read. Like I love Phil Spector, so I've read many books on him. I watch every documentary. I love Phil Spector, and I'm so interested by him. So when I watch and read all these things, it's insane to see like how open and honest people are about the horrible things that they think and say out loud. It's so crazy. Why did you write this in a book? You wrote that you thought Cher was a hooker?
Why would you tell anyone that? You didn't need to say that.
That was it was totally free to shut the fuck up.
No one was
it cost
gonna
no
call
money.
you on it.
No one's gonna be like, "Hey man, do you ever think Cher was a hooker?"
Right. Like you just okay.
Incredible.
So funny. So anyway, so they got a complicated relationship, Sonny and Phil, and it blossoms into this very like subservient relationship where Sonny just does everything that Phil asks. He like whatever Phil tells him, like, "Hey, don't let the girls do this." He's like, "Okay," and he becomes like an enforcer for Cher and Ronnie Bennett's relationship in a lot of ways. And it's very, again, he's like getting other people to carry out his like possessive, weird details of his life and stuff. It's very strange.
Gives me the ick.
All right, so Phil has had a killer career, right? He's had a killer career. Things have been going good for him. The Beatles come to America. Things start to change. He still has some hits. Things are going good or whatever, but we're about to hit 1966. And in 1966, he produced River Deep, Mountain High for Tina Turner. Yes. And to him, he says this was the greatest thing he ever did. It was the ultimate realization of the wall of sound. It was, if you listen to this song, it is
such a phenomenal song.
It's phenomenal. It's a cacophony of sound. It is
absolutely.
It is. I mean, it's like you cannot tell, other than Tina's voice, you cannot tell a single thing that is happening in the background. You can kind of hear like a guitar riff in the beginning, but that could be anything, right?
Yeah.
It's like the whole sound is so amorphous. It has no shape. It has no body. It's so drenched in reverb, and it's just noise behind what's going on. It's so brilliant and so beautiful, and it's.
Yeah.
It does rip. And it's very reminiscent of like modern day, like shoegaze type stuff is like this, you know, it's got a really cool atmosphere. It's all atmosphere and emotion.
Yeah.
Even notoriously shitty notoriously shitty side bastard Ike Turner bowed.
It is a music industry episode. We're going to have a lot of side bastards.
I just really like the side bastard sound effect.
Yeah, we may
I
have to
recorded
steal
that
that from
myself
you.
as well, by the way. Yeah, I think it should make it into the regular rotation.
I do
it's so
too.
nice.
I have a soundboard. I need it.
There we go.
It's so good. It's so good. So notoriously shitty side bastard Ike Turner.
Yeah.
Revered Phil. Let him be in control. You're
Why
talking
are
about a
they
band, Ike and the Ikeettes, right? Featuring Tina Turner. Like we're talking Ike is the control freak of control freaks.
But
and
why
even
are they submissive to this weird little guy?
Sophie, in the beginning, we asked this question.
Yeah.
Why do we allow people to be horrible and shitty, and just because they can make a really cool? It's the same world. Why do those people allow this other person who's also shitty to get away with being in control of them? Because the music industry, because you can write a good song, you can get away with murder, sort of. Not completely. Spoiler alert.
I mean, do people like?
He is
his wigs are
visibly
so
wearing
bad.
wigs.
Yeah,
He's
that's my
visibly
point.
wearing wigs. Nobody is confused about this, and he is wearing platform shoes. He is 5'3". He's wearing platform shoes that barely make him 5'5", which is still really, really short.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
No
when,
offense, short
jinking
case.
It, you hit
No,
me.
no.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it clearly is fucking with him.
I mean,
right?
this is what pops up when I search Phil Spector in 1966.
Okay,
dude,
let's see him.
Look at the hair.
Wow. Oh, no, the glasses, the sideways diamond glasses,
So
those
good.
are amazing.
This is a little early for this.
Those
Hold on,
glasses
this is a little early.
honestly whip.
But I want to share this picture real quick because this is also very important. Robert, God, I have been waiting to show you this picture.
Okay.
I can't wait. This is so good. All right, so this is Phil Spector in 1966, around the same time.
Yeah.
This is him with his security guard, George Brandt.
Oh my God.
So they're sitting in some sort of old-timey van, and George Brandt, Phil is in George Brandt's lap. He looks like a child. George even has, because Phil's holding a gun and pointing it out the window, and he's got like a fucking what's that kind of?
It looks
cat
like a
called?
Labrador or like a dog, a poodle, like a poodle hair situation going on in his head.
It's like a
No,
one
it's
of
a
those fuzzy
boucle.
winter
It's a
hats.
boucle
He's
hat.
pointing a gun, and his bodyguard has his arm around Phil and is like holding him in place. And his hand is like as big as both of Phil's hands put together, like one hand. Like this
He's got, like,
contrast
little
between the two men
flappy
is
ear.
jarring.
It's the
It's
flappy
so
ear
funny.
hats. It's incredible.
Yeah.
As
short,
a lover
it is
of
very
hats
funny.
myself.
It is so
Embarrassing.
incredible. I cannot believe that he took that picture and was like, yeah,
I know.
print that shit.
Crazy.
It's so funny. He's a tiny person. That really gives you like a
Scale.
perspective.
Yeah.
He's a tiny
looks
person,
like
and he
a
looks
child.
very silly posing with a gun.
George Brand, this is George Brand, and George Brand is a kind of big. He's like 6'1" or something like
Yeah.
that. But he's not, that's not huge. That's me. I'm 6 foot. You
No.
know, he's like my size.
But he looks like a giant compared to him.
He looks like he's holding his child.
Has Ike Turner and Sonny bowing to him in submission. That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
But that's the power of a hit maker. That's the power of a
I mean,
hit
it's-
maker.
it's
That
pretty
is what-
cool. It's, like,
that is
kinda
what being
culty.
somebody who's
Yeah.
controlling the industry and that kind of power is.
Yeah.
But as I said, well, I didn't say it, but spoiler alert, it doesn't last long.
Okay.
He produced this River Deep Mountain High for Tina Turner, and he spends enormous amount of money. This is signed to his label, to the Phyllis Records, and he spends a ton of money, right? Emotional energy, just everything, time. He puts everything. This is his magna opus. This is his thing, right? He thinks this is the best thing he's ever done. Massive orchestration, intricate layering, one of the most powerful vocal performances ever recorded. Spector later described it as the greatest work of his career.
Yeah.
In the United States, it failed miserably.
That's so wild.
It fails horribly. Now,
Yeah.
Spector says, Spector's belief, and a lot of people's belief, I've heard a lot of opinions on this, but the belief is generally it was too white for black audiences and too black for white audiences. It was that rare moment of in between. It had orchestration, but it had Tina, but it had Wall of Sound Mud, but it had Tina. But, you know, it's like it was so confusing for DJs at the time because you either played race records or you played white records. And that was it.
Right.
Like, it was like, where does this fall? We don't know. Phil Spector is taking this to a logical, like, conclusion, but it just doesn't hit.
Yeah.
It did have success in the United Kingdom. In the UK, it did chart, but the domestic rejection just devastated him. For a man who equated control with emotional safety, the failure felt deeply personal. If he could not guarantee success through perfection, then his entire identity as a producer was suddenly unstable, right? So this breaks him. This is the breaking point. He takes out a full-page ad in a newspaper in America saying Benedict Arnold was right.
Whoa.
Yeah, because England liked it and America didn't.
Whoa. That's nuts. That's a crazy place for your head to go.
What in the fuck?
And then
Benedict
after that,
Arnold was right?
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
So after that, everybody's like, okay, well, we're not spinning this record anymore. This dude just called us all traitors. Like he said England should have won the war. Fuck that guy.
That's a little much.
Crazy.
So Phil's failure with River Deep Mountain High caused him to pull out of music completely. He announced his retirement from music and spent the days wandering around his mansion despondent and depressed. This is a common theme with Phil as well. He spends a lot of time wandering around his mansion depressed.
Well,
Dennis Hopper was actually chronicling the process of making River Deep Mountain High. He was doing like a documentary film on the process. And because he'd been around, he saw this and how it reacted to Phil, he offers Phil a job playing a drug dealer in Easy Rider, which is an amazing film, amazing role. They said, literally, they're like, yeah, we gave him we let him be an Easy Rider. The story I read framed it as like, oh yeah, it'll pick him up, it'll make him feel better.
Yeah.
But then when you actually hear like the Dennis Hopper interview, he's like, yeah, he had a Rolls Royce and he would let us use it if we'd put him in the movie.
We couldn't afford it otherwise. It was Easy Rider,
Yeah. It was made for like $25,000. So other than his time on Easy Rider, he spent most of his time playing pool and often hanging with his friend Lenny Bruce. Are you familiar with Lenny Bruce?
Oh my God, yeah, of course. Lenny Bruce
Comedian.
was Lenny Bruce was the inspired George Carlin. He's kind of he's like the first stand-up guy.
Comic.
Yeah.
But he's like the first shock comic.
Some people say the first really good stand-up comedian, but he was a big dude. Yeah.
Phil loves him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phil just idolizes him. He thinks he's amazing. He's Phil Spector, so he's big enough to just be like, yeah, I'll just hang it. Lenny Bruce is, by the way, in his personal life, a massive piece of shit, basically.
Yeah. Not a nice and horrible at drug problems. You know?
Yes, horrible drug problems, horrible everything problems. Lenny Bruce is a mess. And
he's a mess.
For those of you who are not familiar with Lenny Bruce, if you look it up, you're going to be there's a lot of N-word Lenny Bruce rants, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot.
They also tried to fictionalize, romanticize him in that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel show that was on Amazon. They make him a character in that, and they make him like this, like, they totally.
Really?
Because he's widely, and in a lot of ways, rightfully beloved because of his influence on, like, comedy from a freedom of speech standpoint, which he really did take a stand and pay for. But that they also whitewash a lot of, like, he was a messy motherfucker among comedians, and stand-up comedians are almost all messy sons of bitches.
There's a lot of stories about him showing up at Phil's house and Phil having to like basically kick him out and be like and apologize to his guests. Phil, the guy who held people at gunpoint, waved guns around, had to be like, yeah, guys, sorry, Lenny's messy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Lenny's messy, guys. What can you say?
My friend doesn't always use the right terms. He can be kind of inappropriate.
All right, so the two men bonded over a shared sense of being misunderstood, outsiders navigating industries that simultaneously rewarded and rejected them, which is extremely valid. They're both kind of outsiders while also being like praised and glorified.
And also kind of at the top of their careers, or kind of at the top of their field.
Yes, it's very strange
to say.
Bruce admired Spector's musical intensity, and Spector appeared to be drawn to Bruce's defiant rejection of authority and social norms. He quotes Lenny Bruce all the time. He'll be like, Lenny Bruce says, it's like always how he goes. He loves Lenny Bruce. He loves Lenny Bruce so much that Phil keeps a blown up image of Lenny Bruce above his bed.
What?
Oh.
What?
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Ronnie.
Oh. Oh. Okay. So we're a step beyond.
Oh,
two
yeah, this is
famous
weird.
guys who like getting wasted together. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's
weird.
Okay.
What?
I like when I wrote this, I literally had this like funny mental image of me having a Robert Evans above my bed and like you're shirtless, you know, like just like
Christ.
you know, over the shoulder kind of look, you know, just like I was like, yes, dude, that's how I want my relationship with Robert to be. Is like like quasi sexual in nature.
Lenny Bruce relationship, sure, absolutely.
My goodness.
So
Spector's gets his belief that he's existing outside of conventional society. By hanging out with Lenny Bruce, it validates that for him.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that
He's not
society
just a
just
rich
didn't
guy.
understand him.
Yeah.
This is why River Deep Mountain High failed. It's just like Lenny Bruce, right? It's like society just doesn't get how important this is.
But then Lenny dies.
But then Lenny Bruce does die, doesn't he?
You
In
don't
fact,
have a long life expectancy as a Lenny Bruce type.
on August 3rd, 1966, Lenny was found on the floor of his bathroom with his pants around his ankles and a needle stuck in his arm.
Yeah.
That's how that goes, right? He died of an overdose. He died of an overdose on the toilet, which is very Elvis and sad. Very, I mean,
very Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, very Lenny Bruce. Yeah, Lenny Bruce was the original. Lenny Bruce, the OG, dying on the toilet.
Yeah.
So, Phil was devastated to lose his friend. He's so sad about this. And again, mopes around the house for days, you know. But a few days later, a cop shows up at his, I think it was his lawyer's house. It was either his friend or a lawyer, but cop shows up and says, "Hey, I got these pictures of Lenny Bruce from the crime scene. Either you buy them or I'm selling them to the tabloids," right? And so Phil spent $5,000 of his own money. He purchased them, spent $5,000 of his own money, which at that time is like a house.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah.
You know, spends $5,000 of his own money to purchase those photos to keep them out of the press. He also paid for Lenny's funeral. And then after Lenny's funeral, he locked himself in his house for weeks on end and didn't talk to anybody because he was so depressed at the loss of his friend.
Fuck me.
It's one of those real...
Yeah. It's weird that he is capable of deeply caring for someone, and it's Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a really weird moment because you're like, oh, that's sad, but also
this is the first really human emotion we've gotten. Okay, interesting.
But also, you know. Back to Ronnie, right? Ronnie's mom finally is like, you guys aren't really married. Right? So she's like, you're not living with somebody if you're not married to them. She loses her mind over the whole thing.
Yeah.
She's like, you guys need to get married, right? So Phil, he still lies to her. He tries lying, but she comes out to California and she's like, nope, don't believe you. And so she takes Ronnie and makes her move back to New York, which is, again, very crazy. This is like an era where being 21 is actually what's considered an adult at this time. I mean, it kind of still is a little bit, but in the manner of if you were under 21, you could actually be told what to do by your parents still, you know?
Yeah, you're not really an independent
and also
person.
have no money and all sorts of shit. Anyway, so she forces her to move back to New York. Ronnie hates being in New York. She hates being around her relatives. She feels like they're all like gold diggers kind of. And she wants to get back to California. So Phil comes and rescues her and takes her back to California. But as soon as they get back, he gets right back into being jealous, you know? And it wasn't until she threatens to leave him that he finally does commit to marrying her.
Aw, well.
They're planning to be married on April 14th, but MLK was shot and killed on April 4th. And Phil goes into a despair. It's super common with Phil. Anytime somebody famous dies that he has had any association with at all, which does happen a lot, 60s and all, he falls into these horrible depressive states where he just mopes around. He was just playing MLK speeches on repeat in his house at top volume, which I'm sure he had a killer stereo, right? He's Phil Spector. So he's just blasting MLK speeches at top volume in his house and crying in the living room. It's super crazy. Which brings me to a point about Phil that I think is super interesting for all of Phil's flaws. Racism is never one of them. Not once, not ever. He is always... when we look at these relationships, it's it is always black girl groups that he's doing this abuse to, but black is never really like a consideration. It is women that is the consideration.
Yeah.
That like
he has an issue with women, right?
For as awful as he is, he's never awful about
race.
Black people. He loves black people. In fact, Ronnie thinks that he wished he was black. And he cried tears when MLK died.
Given his, like the industry he's in at the time. That makes sense actually.
Yeah.
So he eventually snaps out of his depression and they return to their wedding plans. They get married on the 14th. The marriage itself was performed at a Justice of the Peace ceremony. They know for a millionaire record producer, he half-asses the hell out of it. He does Justice of the Peace. And as someone who's done a couple Justice of the Peace marriages, I get it, right? Sometimes you just want to get it over with, I got stuff to do today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done one.
His chauffeur's brother was his best man. After the wedding, they celebrated by going to a concert, and then Phil sent Ronnie and her mother home with his driver and went to visit his mother out of guilt of not having told her about the wedding. So he feels bad. He's like, oh, actually, I can't believe I didn't tell my mom about the wedding. Yeah. I should have told her about this.
I forgot to tell. So I got in trouble for that too.
So I probably should have done that. So he goes, right, and Ronnie and her mom go back to the house, right? Ronnie goes home. She puts on some lingerie. She gets wedding night, bro. Wedding night, She gets all up. And she waits and waits and waits and waits. Hours go by. Phil does not come back. And she's like, okay, well, what the hell? Finally, he returns home late as hell, drunk as hell, and he's mad. He walked into our room, she says. This is from her book, Be My Baby. Quote, when he walked into our room, I could tell the last thing he was interested in was my body. Remember, she's wearing lingerie and everything. He was a completely different person than the man I had sat with at the concert 3 hours earlier. You bitch, he shouted. I couldn't believe how mad he looked, and worse than I'd ever seen him. He was raving so loud that the veins in his neck were bulging blue. I know your game, Veronica, he shouted. You just want my money. That is it, isn't it? I was so scared that I got up and ran out of the bedroom and into the hallway. If Phil was going to kill me, I wanted him to do it where there might be witnesses. What's wrong, Phil? What did your mother tell you? The truth, he panted, that this whole marriage is about one thing, my money. He was so mad he could barely catch his breath now. Mm-hmm. Ronnie and her mother locked themselves inside a bathroom for hours, hiding from Phil's rage and unpredictable behavior. Quote, my mother and I had been living on that pale blue carpet for over an hour when Phil finally wore himself out and went to bed. After that, we got kind of drowsy ourselves. I was just drifting off to sleep when I heard my mother sigh. Ronnie, 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 what did you marry? I moved in close to her and I started to cry. Isn't this something I sniffed? Here it is my wedding night and I'm spending it curled up on the bathroom floor with my mother.
Jeez.
Wow.
So it is her wedding day. He goes to a show and then he comes home drunk, drops her off, comes home drunk, screaming and threatening her. An hour. He spent an hour banging on the bathroom door, threatening her, screaming at her. With her and her mom just in the bathroom, cuddled up on the floor, crying.
Wow.
And that extremely happy moment
cool.
is where we will leave this episode.
Great. That's part 2, baby.
Part 2 done. I am Greazy Wil. You can find me all over the internet. I have lots of things for sale if you ever want to buy them. And it is the same thing. You're supporting people's livelihoods.
That's right. Their dreams.
Yes. My assistants, they're drug free. So when I pay them money, it's not going to drugs. That's right. That is super courteous. That's the best you can say about anybody.
That's right. Whereas I take all of my profits and hand them out underneath a bridge so that people can buy drugs. Not me.
You might as well pay me in heroin. Just pay me in heroin.
Just pay the strangers I give money to in heroin.
You are Robert Evans,
I am.
Good friend and found at I Write Okay on the internet.
That's right.
And also here. And
yes,
on Netflix. You might be watching this on the Netflix. Bro, this is the closest I will ever come to success.
You could watch this and then watch another one of Netflix's classic hit shows, like whatever movie is out now.
That one about that pervert guy that kidnaps people and keeps them in their basement.
Sure. You could be watching The Pervert next.
Wow. Behind the Bastards is a production of Cool Zone Media. For more from Cool Zone Media, visit our website, coolzonemedia.com. or check us out on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Full video episodes of Behind the Bastards are now streaming on Netflix, dropping every Tuesday and Thursday. Hit Remind Me on Netflix so you don't miss an episode. For clips and our older episode catalog, continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BehindTheBastards. We love about 40% of you, statistically speaking.
Peace to the planet, Charlemagne the God here, and listen, we are back. The Black Effect Podcast Festival is back in Atlanta on April 25th at Pullman Yard. Yeah. And the full lineup is nuts. We got the Grits and Eggs podcast, Deontay Kyle and Big Ice Cup Cat. We got Club 520 with Jeff Teague and the gang. Yeah. Don't Call Me White Girl. Mona will be there. Keep It Positive, Sweetie with Crystal Renee. We got Reality with the King with Carlos King. And yes, Drink Champs will be in the building. Okay. Plus, you know we're going to have a lot of guests, so you need to join us. And we got the Black Effect Marketplace, the Picture Podcast, and everything you expect from the Black Effect Podcast Festival. Tickets are on sale right now. Go get yours at blackeffect.com/podcast festival. Don't play yourself, okay? Pull up.
Then she says, have you seen a photo of my son? And I'm like, who is this person?
Welcome to the Boys and Girls Podcast. Arranged marriage is basically a reality show, and you're auditioning for your soulmate. And who's judging? Only your entire family. I sacrificed myself to this ancient tradition, hoping to find love the right way. And instead, I found chaos, comedy, and a lot of cringe. Listen to Boys and Girls on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the Cino Show podcast, each episode invites you into a raw, unfiltered conversations about recovery, resilience, and redemption. On a recent episode, I sit down with actor, cultural icon Danny Trejo to talk about addiction, transformation, and the power of second chances. The entire season 2 is now available to binge, featuring powerful conversations with guests like Tiffany Haddish, Johnny Knoxville, and more.
I'm an alcoholic, and without this program, I'm gonna die.
Listen to the Cino Show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Saturday, May 2nd, country's biggest stars will be in Austin, Texas at our 2026 iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they sell out at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.